What's going on, beautiful people? I have kept Discus before. A good few years ago now, I had 6 amazing, beautiful, big Discus. Everything was going perfectly for like a year and a half, and then one of them got sick, and sadly it passed away. And as a result, the whole hierarchy was reset, and then one of them got bullied, and I lost another one. Now at this point, I was really put off the whole thing. My knowledge wasn't quite good enough on the behaviour of the fish to be able to rectify it, but looking back now, it could have been easily fixed. You know, hindsight's a great thing, but I was just put off by that, and I took the fish to the fish shop where they were sold on, and also one of the workers there, Cheryl, she took on one of them as well, or 2 of them, I can't remember exactly, but she took some back to her amazing Discus tank, and we got chatting about 4 weeks ago, and I was really keen to do it again. So this time, I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna get the Discus, but I'm gonna use her knowledge and hopefully teach you guys as well what she does, because her fish look so good. I'm gonna follow all of her methods that she uses for feeding, planting the tank, all that sort of thing, temperatures, fish to have with them as well. And I'm 100% confident this time we can have a way better experience. So today's video is proudly sponsored by API and Aquarian. Now you guys know I've been working with these companies for a long time now, and I only suggest products to you that work, and these work. I mean, the evidence is all around us, especially in the 8-foot tank behind. Now throughout the video, I'm gonna be using everything here. So we're gonna be using Aqua Essential for preparing our water, Leaf Zone to make sure the water column's fertilized, Quick Start to make sure it's safe when we first put fish in, AccuClear is gonna get that water crystal clear for us, Root Tabs are gonna make sure there's adequate nutrients in the substrate system, and the Freshwater Master Test Kit, because obviously you need a test kit. I recommend everyone gets a test kit. Get this one, it's very accurate. You can't be taking any chances with your fish. We will be feeding sinking pellets to the Discus and to the cories when we've got them. I won't need to use any of the wafers in that specific tank, but I do use it on all the other ones where I've got quite a lot of bristlenose dotted around, so they're perfect for that. And we'll also be feeding the flake food as well later in the video when the fish are in and all comfortable. So looking forward to that. So yeah, once again, thank you very much API and Aquarium for sponsoring this video. Let's get back to the build. So the aquarium size is 360 litres, an extra 20 for the big canister filter as well that we've got in there, which we'll get to. That's about 90 gallons, something like that, I think, if my maths is working right, which it probably isn't, but I'll check that. Anyway, we've got a decent size, it's a good footprint, it comes right out, so it's 120 centimetres in length, and it's 60 centimetres in depth as well. So, you know, most tanks this size come out to about there, but this has got the extra footprint, which means we can do a bit more at the back and still have huge space for the Discus to grow into. Now, I wanted to get started on this tank a while back, but I couldn't because it still had Chunks in there, and I knew I was going to be moving him over to the 8-foot, which he's now in. And here is Chunks, look, down here, in with the angels, loving life. He's so gentle, he doesn't pick on any other fish, even though he's by far the biggest fish in there. And that has worked out really well. So I'm massively pleased for it. There was a slight bit of apprehension, thinking, would he try and like bully some of the fish that are a bit bigger, because he hasn't been in with any other bigger fish. But no, absolutely perfect. And when you feed, he even like sort of stays back and lets everyone else feed first. He's such a nice fish. But yeah, so he's in his new home, he's loving life there, and now we can move on to getting this one set up. So obviously I'm gonna break it down and completely restart, but I'm gonna have to be careful with it, because hopefully you can make out there on that rock, we have recently had a batch of bristlenose plecos being born. They are absolutely everywhere as well. Look, there's another one on the glass. We've got 2 of them on that rock there. There's some more I can see in that dark area at the back. There's just going to be absolutely tons of them, which is great. I love bristlenose. So I'll be able to take those out and put them in my, I'll put them in one of the tanks on the fish wall, just so they can grow out there, get a little bit bigger. And then they can be put in other aquascapes to help with cleaning, but also for enjoyment and something interesting to look at as well. It's quite interesting actually. If you look on the back glass there, for some reason the bristlenose laid their eggs all across the back of the glass. They're the only fish in here that would do that. So it's not like cories or anything, and they all were hatched from there. And they're all doing great. I'm guessing they've been doing this for a while. It's just that with Chunks in there, he's probably going around gobbling up all the babies. But now that he's not in there, the babies have survived and they're all growing up. I mean, that's a decent size now already. That's got to be 3 weeks old, I reckon, 2-3 weeks old. No yolk sac or anything like that. So yeah, brilliant. Free fish. Oh, there's another one there, look, as well. So yeah, usually I'd tackle this with just pull out all the wood, the plants, left with the substrate, push the substrate to the back, then siphon all the water out, obviously catching the fish as well. I can't do that now. If I start ripping everything out quickly and chucking that substrate back, a load of them are going to get buried under it. So just got to be a little bit more careful, but shouldn't be a problem. I don't know how many's going to be in there though, but I think there's a lot. So whilst I was bringing that water down, I was just getting any bristlenose that was just on the front glass really and on the edge, and I've already got so many in here. Look at that lot. And that's without even trying. I reckon there's going to be double that at least. So I was just cleaning off the bottom of the glass and scraping the sand back, and I found this. Look at that. It's definitely bristlenose eggs. I don't know if they'll be okay, but I'm going to put them in another tank and just see what happens. Hopefully they hatch out again. We've got even more. Yeah, I'm going to put them in this tank because there's nothing else in it apart from some little shrimp. And yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think you're supposed to put them in an egg tumbler and things, but they weren't in an egg tumbler in the tank. Maybe they'll hatch, maybe they won't. I mean, we'll see. There we go. So I've collected everything up. We have got loads of baby bristlenose, and we've got the red-eye tetra, really, really good specimens. I'm going to put them in the South American tank. You know, that's where they're from, and they'll go nicely in there. It's a good size for them. So all of the bristlenose can go in this tank. Come on, guys. There's just some little shrimp in there with them. Whoa, that's a lot. And then I can like feed this tank with algae wafers and things. There's also a good build-up of algae and stuff on the rocks and the glass, so they'll be perfect in there. They've already got a food source, but I'll add to it as well. And then the red-eye tetra in here. I've put some gunk in there as well, but I'll settle. And there's still actually a couple of lemon tetra in there. I've had these for so long. They're quite old actually, but they were breeding. They did make babies for me. And I put them in this tank. You can see here, look. Baby lemon tetra. I managed to catch those in the other tank before Chunks ate them and put them in here. This is basically the tank I put all baby fish in. So I think I'm going to put one of the tanks up here that hasn't got fish. I'm going to put those breeding lemon tetra in there and hopefully we get some more. There we go, my little lemons. Make lots of babies for me. Awesome, yeah, there's nothing else in there with them, so any babies that do survive, hopefully have a chance to grow. There's lots of mulm and leaf litter and things, so it's kind of like the perfect setting. Right then, let's get this thing cleaned up. I'm going to transfer the filter inlet and outlet over to this tank so it can keep running and all the bacteria inside of it will stay good. So basically we'll have an instantly cycled tank. And then I'm just going to take everything out and give it a deep clean. Right guys, it's been 2 days since I cleaned out the tank and I've come in this morning and looked down at where we put the eggs. I've got a nice surprise. A very nice surprise indeed, because I was thinking that they'd just still be sat there, but look, on the glass. Look at that. It looks like an egg, but it's a yolk sac now, and you can see the tail and the head of the fish above it, the bristlenose. And there's loads more. They've all gone from that area, which means they're dotted all around the tank in different areas. And the egg sac should keep them alive for a while. It's like a constant supply of food. But this tank, as you can see, is very mature, and there's dots of algae and things everywhere. I'm going to put in some extra food as well on top of the shrimp food, just some algae wafers, which will break up and get very, very sort of microscopic, if you like, so just to make sure that there's a continuous food source. But that is great news. So we've got all those ones in there that are going to hopefully grow out. And then we've got all of these ones in here that are, you know, just growing nicely. They're of a good size now, and they're only going to get bigger and bigger as well. Brilliant, more free fish. So I'm back at the shop because I forgot my charger. I was just about to start filming for the day and realised I left it all here. This is Aaron. Aaron's just pointing out our discus that we've got ordered. They're already here, they're ready to go in, but I want to get the tank up and running looking good first. Yeah. Yeah. So which ones are mine, Aaron?
These ones over here.
We're on my phone, but it's fine. Okay, so yeah, we're not getting big to start with. And did you say there's 11?
Yeah, 11.
And then if I see any ones I extra fancy, I can take as well. Yeah. So it's those, there's not 11 there, is there?
Yeah, count them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh yeah, there we go, 11, there we go. Okay, and then I'm gonna steal this one, and I want this one, and these ones. Yeah, so they're here. Like I say, this is like a mix. We wanted to do a mix of colours. Oh, it is actually a complete mix, pretty much. So, yeah, they'll look better, obviously, under the lighting we've got planned and a planted tank and everything, but start small, let them all grow in. Right, I'm back from the shop. That was so annoying. I got in this morning, went to start filming, and no battery. So I left it 40 minutes away, there and back, so I had to go get that. Anyway, That's besides the point. We're ready now to carry on with the build. I need to get a substrate system in place, but also a layout in place as well. First of all, I always like to start with the substrate though. I need to make sure I've got lots of nutrients packed down because I want lots of plants in there. Surprise, surprise. And why do I want lots of plants? Well, because you need really, really good water quality for any fish, but particularly discus as well. And the best way to do that is have the plants do it for you. So for instance, I love this rainbow fish tank here. It's been on autopilot for a long time, but it isn't going to be suitable for discus, is it? Because there's no space, like the discus are going to get bigger. And although they can swim in and out of the structure, that is fine for the rainbows and suits them, but it won't for the discus. And pretty much the same with the Congo puffers here. Because they're smaller, I could put a lot of hardscape and plants into that back area. Just have this front area for them and they can explore in and out when they want to. Discus, again, that's not going to be the case. To be fair, the 8 foot would be suitable. The way I'd done this was it looks like it's full, but it's kind of not. They can go everywhere, all behind, and plants don't really stop fish swimming where they want to go. They're not bothered by plants at all. It's just chunky hardscape is where they're not going to go. So they can come anywhere in the front, all the way around the back and out again. Look at them all following me. So yeah, I think at some point, once they've grown a lot bigger, because they're only diddy at the moment, but when they've got a lot bigger in like a year or so, you could definitely look at doing something in the 8 foot. Oh, my fish, my puffers next to me here are just begging for food. I'm going to feed them. Here you go, guys. Come around here. It's up here. There we go, they're coming around. Once they get a sense of it in the water, they'll all be on it. It's here. This is the thing with puffers, they are so derpy. Look, I think they know it's in the water. It's right there. I'll just prod it down a little bit, look. Once they do see it's there and have taken a few nibbles, they'll come right out. Oh, look, now you're coming round. Are you kidding me? Okay, look, yeah, you're picking at it down there, but it's all here. I'm just gonna have to sink it, aren't I? Play around with it for a bit. Water's warm anyway, look, so it defrosts so fast. Okay, there you go. You can hunt the rest of it. Actually, before I do anything, I have got a brand new set of lights to go on the top. I want spotlights instead of a strip one, because I want shimmer. And I have got some new ones here that I've not used before. I have got the Hyger Max Pro plant. This isn't like sponsored video or anything. I saw them on Amazon and thought I'd give them a go. In actual fact, I didn't realise they were as big as they are. Hang on, let me get them out. This one-handed is quite hard. I didn't realise they were this beastie. Because I'm going to be doing a design up in that tank there, the shallow one that you can see. And I thought they were just quite small and would overhang as pendant lights. They're way too big, so I've ordered different ones for that tank that's coming soon. And I thought this tank would be the perfect one to try these on. I've already plugged it in. Very powerful, mind you, but it is raised up off of the surface of the tank. So yeah, hopefully it's going to work well. First of all, I need to take this all off. That should just pull off, there we go. And I've got an uplighter at the bottom. I'm not sure I want that on this tank because we're going to have Val everywhere, hence this tank next to it. Nope, that's not working. What on earth am I caught on? Oh, there we go. Now I've just got it stuck. Right, we're clear. Let's get the new lights fitted on.
Right, I've built the light. I have to say, very good build quality. A little bit fiddly getting it all together, but I don't mind fiddly if it works well. So you've got it suspended with the wire there. It's not just hanging by its own wire, it's got suspension wire, which all locks in place in this point here. And then these are pretty good as well, look. Just keep everything tidy running down the back of it all the way. Very good that, because usually I just wrap some black tape or a cable tie, but this looks way better. Now to see how well it lights the tank up.
Right, ready to switch it on. I'm not too worried about the cable at the back because you're not going to see it with all of Alison area in a hardscape anyway, but if you can, I think I'll just run it to the side and bring it down that way. There's plenty of cable on it. Switch it on. Whoa. Okay, that is bright. Let me adjust the camera to how I see it. There we go. That's about how I'm seeing it. And I can see it's like full spread. I mean, look at the spread of colours at the back there. Maybe the camera can't make it out, but we've got like a full RGB there. So that's going to grow plants amazing. I know it will for sure. Nice white light as well. I think that's always best. Right, that's the second one fitted. Let's see how it looks. We're on. What a spread. And yeah, I was definitely thinking about misting up the back or painting it black or something like that. But there's literally no point. It would be a waste of time because we're not going to see it at all anyway. So it's now time for us to make the substrate system that's going to go in the whole bottom layer of the tank. There's multiple ways of doing this. You can create a border and only have like the nutrients in the back section and clear sand at the front. Or you can do what I'm going to do and just put it everywhere, because then I can plant wherever I want. Like at the moment I'm thinking open foreground, but by the time I've done it all, I'll probably want some more plants in the foreground as well. I think, why not? It's just going to help with water quality and look great. Discus looks so good against green, so there's going to be lots of green, but we're going to have some other colour pops as well. This lighting, I know, is going to make the plants pop like crazy, so I'm going to go for everything. So as usual, the first item going in is NutriBase. It works as a really good bottom layer. I mean, it just looks like sand, but it's got nutrients mixed in, like a mix of sand, porous gravel. It's got dormant beneficial bacteria as well to get things started. I want loads of it over that section. I need more than that. Yeah, it's a big footprint, this aquarium. So I'm going to go with a bag and a half. Just even it about a little bit. And then I'm going to mix in some pond soil on top of that, just to bump up the nutrients even more. I'm going to have a lot of plants in here drawing a lot of nutrients from the roots. So I want to make sure we've got absolutely ample nutrients for the plants. The substrate system I'm doing here, I've done lots and lots of times before, and I've had it running in tanks for like over a year. I don't know for much longer than that. It probably needs to have more root tabs and things after that point, but I know it works really well for at least a year. To be honest, I don't see why it wouldn't go for longer. Well, a year and 3 months was technically how long one of the tanks I had. That's the longest tank I've ever had, has been a year and 3 months. I just personally, you know, like to redo stuff and make new tanks pretty often. Normally around the 6-month mark. I really like creating the tanks, and once I see that they're done and complete and at their finished state, the excitement for me is sort of over, and I like seeing the challenge of getting it all working. And for me, I'm sort of like one of these people that once I've reached my goal, I'm done with it. I want to move on to the next challenge. So that's why I only sort of keep tanks for about a year at the most. That's just personal preference. And I will be adding root tabs to all of this as well, but not at this stage. First of all, I want to get it all capped over, hardscape in, and then I can decide the best places for the root tabs to have the most impact on the plants. Now I've got all this substrate down here that I took out from the previous scape. It's not like clean, it's still full of nutrients, so I can use this as an initial cap, and then I've got brand new sand, I've got another bag as well, that I can put over the top of that to be the final cap that's kind of inert, locking everything down. So that is the main base layer done. Everything's locked down. It's like a full cap, if you like. And what goes on top of that is the stuff we want to actually see, the decorative layer. There we go. Now that currently looks pretty horrible, but don't worry, there'll be tons of detail added. I don't want it just left like that. I'll even probably add some more in the foreground area to change the color a little bit, because it's quite whitish. There's little flecks of like sparkly bits from I don't know. In fact, I've got some play sand here, which is more of a natural tone to it. I think I'll put that in the foreground right now. Now, of course, that's all going to mix together and sort of make its own natural look over time. But to start with, we'll keep it like that. There will be way more added to this. It's going to look miles better. Okay, the good news is the boring but very necessary part is done. Now we can actually start creating art with the hardscape. I'm going to start with the biggest piece of hardscape first, and I want it reasonably close to the back. I do want to be able to plant in the back area. Oh, that looks great. Maybe a bit more angle, make it a bit more interesting. Get that side down. And that's the good thing about having the substrate in already, is I can angle the rocks exactly how I want them, and they're going to be shaped and stay, you know, how you want them to look, rather than just keep trying to balance it, risk damaging the tank. Another nice big one, maybe over here. So I don't want to do them in a straight line, so the next one will come out a little bit further just to bring the whole scape forward a little bit. That one there, maybe. Yeah, that fits nicely. Press it down a bit. 3 completely different rocks. Sometimes I just think it looks so cool when you just mix up all the rocks. It makes it much more interesting to look at. Each one's got its own character as well then. Like, awesome detail. Love that. And now I'm just going to keep going until I get something I think looks good, and then I can add the wood to it as well. Now, I know that can probably look a little bit odd at the moment. Like, it kind of looks completely random, but it's not. There is some sort of chaos, like madness to the chaos. What? But I just like using lots of different coloured pebbles and things. And it quite often works if you do like one and do a couple together, and then the odd 3 as well. Like, once all the details are come in, that's going to look like a real sort of natural sand bed. Sand bed? Riverbed. So now we can get some wood on the go. But I'm trying to keep it so that it's all sort of in one line, like kind of like that, and from this corner as well, so that they can swim around the back if they want to, but there's so much open space in the foreground. I might have one creeping down here as well, but majority of the hardscape is in one line, so we've got maximum swim room and rotation. And when you're placing your wood, you know, just take your time with it. Don't be afraid to just stick anything in anywhere. Just see how it looks. Well, I don't particularly know if this is going to work in this section. I'm going to give it a go. I like it doing that. If I let go now, it falls forwards. So I'm going to put a rock just in behind to keep it in place. I just like the direction of the wood. I'm trying to keep it that way so that that's the flow of the tank, because the filters will be here and will push the ballast air at the back all that way as well. Oh, there we go, it stayed. So as cool as that is, and it could potentially just be like that, I want a bit more length to it. So I'm going to bring another piece this side, probably coming in at that angle. And then that way we've got like a flow to the whole design. Something like this could work. Not that way though, more like that. Yes, that can work. If I can get a piece of rock to sit underneath it. Try this one. It's pretty cool. Kind of want even more angle though. And then I just want to add one more bit of detail to make this wood here look like it's one bigger piece. See if I can get that lodged in. Yeah, that looks cool. Does that work? Oh, brilliant. Yeah, so far it's quite similar to the scape before, which was my intention, but far better suited for the setup that we need. Like a much better planted tank with a full, what I call the eco substrate system. Going to grow the plants amazingly well, keep the water great. We've got loads and loads of swim room either side of the hardscape for the fish, so they'll be able to go in the back if they want to hide. Obviously, I'm going to be keeping the water level a little bit shallower than usual because the fish are powerful, they can jump. They shouldn't do that. I'm getting them from babies, so you know I've got plenty of other bigger fish I've had in this tank before that haven't jumped. But yeah, I'm happy with that. Job now is to get it all sort of glued down. So to get everything to stick, I'm going to be using super glue gel, make like a blob of it. What am I trying to say? Globlet, I don't know what that is. And then got this reacting agent that makes it set hard straight away all the way through. So yeah, that means I can get to work on the planting straight after and then filling up. Right, everything is locked in. I can tap it all. Nothing is moving. So that's not going anywhere. Now I could add more wood and sort of creep it over to create like a viney look, but I don't want to risk anywhere for like the fish to get snagged or caught up. And I just want them to be like showcasing the beauty of the fish with just a little bit of wood as a backdrop. I think that'd be perfect. This tank is basically all about the fish, a true fish tank. And I've got a fair few different pieces of scatter gravel to choose from. I'm just going to do a nice big mix of, oh, that looks good. Absolutely everything and just see how that turns out. I just want to look at it as natural as possible. Yeah, really pleased with how that's turned out. And the reason I'm like leaving all this area much more open, because I want lots of plants all in the foreground as well. I'll keep them trimmed down, maybe some dwarf sage or something like that, just creeping over the whole lot. That would look insane, and the fish would love it as well. So yeah, eventually it's all going to be full of plants. And speaking of plants, I've got quite a lot of prep to do. I want all of the Vallicin area out of here to switch across to there. So I'll get started on that first of all. There we go, we've got an absolute ton there that I've harvested, and the water's gone a bit murky, but I've kept loads all in the back area in case we want more, but also just to keep the propagation going. In case this one doesn't set as well as I'd hoped, it takes a little longer for the sort of tank to bed in. It shouldn't do, they should start growing straight away, but if it doesn't, I can replenish if needed. Right, anyway, let's get all of these planted in that back section. I've actually divided them into long, medium and small, so we can start at the longest at one end and then it gets sort of less as we go along. Okay, I used all of it because more is more. I mean, it looks a bit funny at the moment when it's all filled up. We should have a nice trail going from long to sort of shorter, but still covering the whole back area. But now we can put some epiphytes in. I want to get a nice big clump of, not Anubias, sorry, Java fern in this section, and then probably another one somewhere else, and just make it up as I go along. And I'm going to get a load of the Java fern from this tank because this section here is getting way too big. I just pulled some out of that gap you can see there. It's taken over and restricting swim room, so it does need to be pruned back. Now, all of the leaves you can see here are new. They've all grown from the original pieces. So yeah, you can see here, the one I just taken out, they've all grown off of those brown leaves you can see at the bottom, which were the original Java ferns, and then you get these beautiful ones that come afterwards. So if you do see some of your Java ferns dying back, just stay calm. It will sort itself. That looks absolutely gorgeous. These lights are making the greens pop like crazy. I think it's because there's that hint of bluey purple in there, and it really gives it that sort of green that reminds you of freshness, you know, and healthy plants. So yeah, I'm loving these lights so far. Right, that is enough Java fern. I've sort of gone in quite a few of the cracks where some odd gaps, you know, the things that I didn't want to be showing or fish getting stuck. So this way it's plugged in, but it looks beautiful as well. Now, I have been going since 5 o'clock this morning. It's now 7 p.m. at night. I need to go home. But before that, I'm just going to quickly fill up a little bit of water so it covers half, you know, like halfway up. And then I can carry on in the morning. I might drain it down to carry on. I might just carry on with it with water in, actually. There's no harm in doing that. Get the filter going and then it'll be fine. Oh yeah, look at that. I mean, that is the water level I'll keep it at as well. But I'm not definitely set on this foreground colour in the sand because of the blue or purpliness of the light. It's making it look kind of strange. I wanted it more orangey. So this is the same sand in the puffer tank, and you can see it's a completely different colour under the superfish lighting, which has got more of an orange hue to it anyway, more like natural sort of midday sun, I guess. But yeah, I'll see if it grows on me. I have got some more sand coming that's sort of like a mix in between these two, so maybe that'll work and I can experiment with it. But for now, I was only going to do this half full. It's now really late. I need to go home. We'll carry on with this in the morning. And it's the next morning. So held up pretty well. I was expecting it to be more murky, but that makes sense because obviously this wood has been in water for a long time. It's time to crack on. Let's get going with some mid-ground plants now, all up against the rock edge. I want to pop a little bit of colour in that one as well. We've got reds in this tank, got some nice ones in this one, and some tiger lotus up here, red tiger lotus. They're just floating, some of the leaves are bad, so I'll take off the bad ones, but I think a nice little pop of that somewhere will look great. Lots of Rotala rotundifolia in this one, as well as some different Ludwigias as well, that'll be nice. More in here, and I've got some very tall ones in the 8 foot, but I don't really want to trim them out of here. I think it looks really good. I'm going to be doing videos soon, like for 1 hour on each tank so people can watch them. I'm going to put them on a second channel though, so it doesn't kind of change the main channel. But first of all, I just want to get that tiger lotus in because it's right in the flow and it's getting damaged. So first of all, I've got this nice little one. I think will look perfect in that spot. Get that right in. Come on, Leafy, don't stay like that. There we go. Look at that colour. Oh, it looks great under this light. It's just going to get better and better. And then I've got a much bigger one, look, to go on this side, right in that area. And how good does that look? some dodgy leaves. I'm gonna have to remove those. Hopefully I can do this without ripping it all up. That leaf can go. Bit of algae on some of them as well, so we don't want that staying in. That one's pretty good. Yeah, we'll leave that. And then look, a nice little collection of Rotala rotundifolia just next to it. Look at that. Some gorgeous granulosa as well, just for a different texture of red. I'm not going to be putting all just reds in this bit, but I think these look really cool for now. That one's got more green to it because it was grown further down. So this bit's closer to the light, this bit's further down. Look at the difference. Some more here as well. And just in the gap. Oh, that looks cool, just creeping over the rock like that. And we obviously want some green rotundifolia as well. So that's what this is, rotundifolia green. Oh, I can't believe how vibrant it's looking underneath this lighting. We are cooking on gas now, look at that. Just adding all the different textures in really brings it to life. I want a lot more sort of bushier plants in this corner though, and then it gets progressively less and less as we go. That will help with the startup and just reduce algae, fast growing plants in that area like limnophilia and Mariophyllum, 2 different tones as well. So here's some limnophilia in this section. Just want to put it so it kind of blocks off the area to the eye, but the fish can easily just swim straight through it. Look at how bushy and amazing that looks. No CO2 that's grown with, so it should continue to grow like that, or even better, because this is even more powerful lighting. So that looks great. Now we have got the Mariophyllum just in this back area, look, for a different, complete colour change. Now this will grow fast. That's a bit too long. Bit too long, that one. Yeah, this will grow super fast, and I'm not sure if either of these plants will stay long term, but they're going to add so much to the tank to start with. Any fast growing plants use up nutrients quickly, and that's exactly what we want. So adding just like a different colour tone as well is always interesting. Trying to just get it peeking through different areas, just like it's naturally progressed. Oh, that is looking so good so far. It's not even clear and it looks great. But I do think I want something in that substrate system that's going to creep over time, and dwarf sage could be the perfect option because it goes similar to the Vallisneria at the back, but it stays shorter, especially under high lighting, but spreads fast. It's also easy to maintain because you can just come down and rip chunks out of it once it's fully rooted, of course. And it's nice and quick. Cutting it looks a bit squared off, looks a bit weird, but ripping it, as I've done before, works really well. Here we go, look, I just pulled out a load of baby dwarf sage, well, not baby, but like shorter dwarf sage from this tank here because it was starting to cover all the foreground, which is not the look I was going for. Tank's a bit misted up now, but that's all right. Do you know what's quite funny? I've not used a single new plant so far. This is why it's cool having quite a few tanks with plants growing. Like, I'm not saying get like 50 like me, but if you've got 3 or 4, you can keep moving plants over and across and eventually just all look insanely good. Okay, looking sick. Right, now we know where the nutrients need to go because we've got the hardscape in the plants everywhere. I think that is enough for now, at least anyway. It's time to add in some root tabs. Now I'm gonna use all 10 in this tank, but I'm gonna break them all up into halves. So technically there's 20 halves. And then I'm gonna dot them all over everywhere, even in the foreground. Remember, there was less nutrients in the foreground, so we need probably a bit more in that area just to make sure that dwarf sage just keeps going. Like, it's all got fresh roots on and they're gonna be wanting nutrients. So there's not much there. Eventually they're just gonna trail and find where all the nutrients are. But if we can give them some straight away, the root tabs will be brilliant for that. Now, I always think of the root tabs like sort of turbocharging the start of your aquarium and for continuous growth as well, because everything the plant needs is just packed into these little, tablets. So if I just get them, push them down to the base, let go, and the sand keeps it in. And that's what's good about it. You can refresh your plants. Like when you start seeing that they're not growing as fast or not looking as great, just get some tabs, you can stick them in the water, shove them in the substrate, and they're just gonna come back very quickly. Within a week or so after doing that, I always see the tank is starting to grow fresh new growth again, really nice. So that is all nutrients in and locked down. It's important we get those nutrients into the root systems. Plants predominantly feed from their roots, and so we're now giving them everything that they need to flourish. We want the best start possible, of course. So now I can switch the filter back over and we can get this water clear as well really quickly. Okay, we're up and running. That is brilliant. And the filter that we're using is the Awase Biomaster And obviously I'm going to sort all those wires and that out. But yeah, I think this is the 450, I think, like the medium. No, that could be the 600. Yeah, that's the 600. Is there a 600? I don't know. It's an Duarte Biomaster thermo thingy. So it's got the built-in heater, which is we're going to need, but also it's got fine filter pads, which is perfect for us getting it super clear in no time at all. AccuClear is so good for this. I use it all the time, pretty much every tank. So I'm going to put a dose of this in now, and then within a few hours, all this mistiness you're seeing will be completely clear and picked up by the filter. What AccuClear does is it binds all the particles together. So the dust you're seeing is fine particles floating in the water column, like microscopic. It clumps them together so that they're big enough then to go into the filter and get trapped. And that's exactly what we want. And then you just clean out the pre-filter and it gets rid of everything. So we'll get that in now. Now this stuff is very potent, and that's why it's great value for money. It's a small bottle because you don't need a lot of it at all. And what you want to do, shake it up first, always shake up any bottle you've got. Now for this size tank, like 360 litres, I only need 1 capful. Just like that. That's it. Done. And I probably won't need it again until I disturb everything. If I plant things and like gets dust all in the water column, which eventually would be picked up by the filter. But if you've got people coming around or whatever, you can just stick this in, get it crystal clear. Looks great. Now also, these plants are not going to be settled for a little bit. Their roots won't be taking nutrients for a good week or so, I'd say. They'll start straight away, but like they won't be like proper working. So in the meantime, we can dose up with the leaf zone. This is going to put potassium, iron, all of that into the water column just to make sure that the plants have got some nutrients. You know, some of the plants here will be fine without even being in the substrate. They wouldn't grow as well, but like the myriophyllum and the limnophilia there, like they are big sort of water column feeders as well as their roots. So let's get that in as well, just give every chance of all the plants just taking off right away. A nice big bottle, again shake it up. For this size tank, oops, I've pierced the end of that, whoops. For this size tank, we need 5 capfuls. 3, 4, 5. Now it makes the water go a bit funny just for the minute, but once that's all gone round, it'll be absolutely fine. Now I've been using Leaf Zone for years and years and years, and as you can see around, all the tanks look super healthy and the plants grow amazing. So yeah, great product, Leaf Zone. If you haven't got it, you need to get it. I just find it works so well. I haven't needed anything else ever. Here we go. So this is 3.5, I think, hours later, and look at how clear it is. Now that is because the filter has got that fine filter floss inside, which means it's captured all of the dust. Now there's a couple of things that's bothering me. First of all, I haven't cleaned the glass in a while. There's crud all down the front of it. That needs cleaning. The line here is where I kept putting my arms in, and obviously the dust trails up, so I need that cleaned up. That plant that's come up is annoying me, but also the built-in surface skimmer on these inlet and the inlet there. It's because we've got such a powerful filter, it keeps sucking air down. The way around that would be to raise the water level, but I don't want to do that because it's too risky. So I'm going to keep the water level where it is. I'm going to swap this one out for one that hasn't got the sort of automatic surface skimmer. If I need to, I can just place one in at the back anyway that's just independent. Now you can just reduce the flow coming into the filter, and that just sort of slows everything down, but what's the point in that? If I do that, then I'm not using the filter for its full potential, so I'd rather just take off the auto surface skimmer. It's not really designed for something as powerful as this filter, and then we can get full power, if you like. Right, scratch that. I don't currently have a spare sort of non-auto surface skimmer, so I've just put this little cap over the end. You can't really tell, so I will order another one, but for now that's absolutely perfect. It's doing the job great. The other thing that's really bothering me now is the foreground layer. It's just too bright. I think it's kind of taken away from everything. It will dull in time. It's just that because the lights are so bright, it's reflecting back. Very hard to film as well, so I might darken up a bit with some other gravel. So I've got some more darker sand here called Mano-based black, and I think that'll work really well. I've also got some more detail stones. This is the Denale Rio Shingu, and again, it's darker than it looks there, but that'll add some more detail to it as well. Now this is probably going to dust everything up again. I'm just filling it up with water first so it doesn't go everywhere straight away. Okay, now we can let it pour. Now I'm going to be putting Cories in here at some point for sure because I love them, and they do like to mess about in the sand and that. Now this is kind of like a coarser sand, but it's all rounded, so it's not a problem at all for any Cories that want to, you know, sift around in it. This is going to make filming so much better. It's just going to make everything better, I think, because that was just too bright. It didn't look good. I'll mix it in a bit as well, of course. We're going to dust up the water a little bit again, but it doesn't matter. I can just add a bit more AquaClear and it'll just clear again. So visually now, I can film it to the correct lighting settings without having to dull everything down because the foreground was so bright. So this is how I'm actually seeing the tank. It looks so much better for you guys on camera now as well. Now the black sand is porous, so it's less dense than the sand, so it should always try to sit on the surface, which is proving true here. Just trying to fluff it up a little bit. I do want more in that front section as well because it kind of looks a bit unnatural with that dividing line, which is proving very difficult. Might need to get in there, pull it forward with a card and then pour some in. So I've got this little squeegee. I'm just going to try and do that and then pour from up here. Yeah, that's kind of working. Oh, I scratched a little bit. Wait for it to be clear. Okay, do that across the whole lot. Still a little bit of sand, you can see, but I'm not too worried about that. There we go. I feel like that works a lot better, and now we can add some detail as well. So now I'm adding a little bit more of the Rio Shingu just to go on top of some of that gravel. I'm going to build it up a little bit more at the areas right around the rock, just so it sort of ties it all in quite nice. Oh yeah, I just think that works so much better. And eventually we're going to have a full carpet of the dwarf sage anyway, so it's all going to be green. It's quite different actually to what I usually do. I wouldn't normally put the lighter sort of scatter gravel with the darker stuff, but it actually creates a real nice contrast. Yeah, loving that. I'm going to add some more AquaClear and it should be clear in a few hours. Right, it has now actually been about 5 days since that last clip. Let's see how we're doing. It is looking glorious. I cannot fault the last 5 days at all. Plants are growing nicely. I can see new tips on quite a lot of them, even in those 5 days, which I was expecting, if I'm honest. I just think this is going to go from strength to strength. The only thing I'm not liking, though, is on the surface here, look, you can see there's a little bit of an oily film. That's just like biological stuff coming off of all the wood. So I'm going to put a little surface skimmer in the back there, and that should sort that. There we go. That's now running. It's also pushing along the Vallicin area quite nicely as well, giving it a little sort of flicker. It should clear this up pretty quickly, but in the meantime, we can go to the shop. We can pick up the fish. I've already turned the temperature up to 26. A lot of people say between 26 and 29 to 30 for your discus. So I'm going to go by exactly what Cheryl says. I might need to change that, I don't know yet. But let's go to the shop and get the fish, finally. Oh. So I'm back at the shop, and usually we are meeting Martin straight over. Today we've got Cheryl.
You got me today.
Because Cheryl has got the most amazing discus ever. It was actually when I saw yours in here that made me think, I'm doing it again.
Doing it again?
Yes. Look at them, they're absolutely stunning. Yeah, definitely doing a discus setup soon. That's the reason why I'm moving chunks to the 8 foot, is so that I can do it again, because last time I panicked when I lost one. And yeah, I'm way more skilled nowadays as well. Can't wait to do that. And on the internet, there's a million opinions on like how to keep them, you know, all that. There's so many different options, but I know that Cheryl's is an option that works so well. You've had them since babies, haven't you?
I have, yes.
And now they're massive. So I'll put clips up over this as well.
Yep.
But yeah, so we've got the discus behind us. Also, I'm going to sit down with Cheryl. We're going to go through some questions as to how she does it, because the proof is in the pudding. Look at how professional we're being. We've even got an interview area that Cheryl's sorted for me.
I'm going to actually invest in a sofa now, I think.
Oh yeah, corner sofa.
Maidenhead sofa for chats.
So here is the discus section. Now, I think these ones up here are mine, and maybe a few others as well, if I start getting too excited. Now, before I take them back to the studio, like I said, we're going to sit down in these amazing seats. I want to ask you some questions. I just said all this. I'm saying it again. Okay, Cheryl.
Hello.
Are you nervous?
I am a little bit.
I can tell. Like,
I am a little
you don't
bit.
have to be.
Yeah.
It's only me.
I know.
How do you keep it? Okay, hang on. I've got a list.
Okay.
Keep notes. There we go. Right. Cheryl's interview.
Okay.
You know what you're doing.
Vaguely.
Anyway, right, okay. No. I'll start with substrates.
Yes.
So, because I've seen some people, they have like bare bottoms and things like that.
Yeah.
You don't do that, do you?
I don't do that.
No?
No, I like to have a bit of green. So I'm not saying that that can't be done, because you can do that.
Yeah,
and in some cases it looks really, really nice. Possibly on a massive scale, it will probably look good where they're shoaling.
Yeah. And a lot of them do that because of breeding and growing and things like that, don't they?
do. Absolutely.
I've just had a thought. No one can see your beautiful face. Let's turn this way. That's better. There we go. Yeah.
So the answer is I do use soil, sand, Nutribase.
All the stuff I like.
All the stuff.
So capped with sand, yeah?
Yes.
A
Absolutely.
decent layer, obviously.
Yes, because I like to use Amazon swords and ballast and like that. So yeah, you need that.
Okay.
That substrate.
And then obviously that means you use that substrate because it's fully planted as well, yeah?
Yes.
Like not crazy levels what I do, I guess, or is it?
No, it's not crazy levels like you. I have got some. Yeah, it's quite planted, I suppose. At the
I'll show
moment.
it. I'll show it. I'll get you to send me the pictures or a little video,
Yeah. Okay.
like landscape,
I don't know if I've
4K.
got one. Let me just say.
Oh no, I mean it's later on when
Yeah,
you're home
okay,
or whatever.
that's
Yeah, that's
fine.
cool. Next thing, right, the big one is feeding. So I don't feed all my tanks every day.
Okay.
Should I for discus,
I
or do
think-
you?
I feed every day.
Done.
And I feed. I rotate food. I don't keep them onto one thing all the
Okay.
time. So yes, beef heart is amazing for them. It
And you've got
really
that here,
fills them
haven't you?
out. Yes, we
Okay,
can do that
got
for you.
Frozen. Yeah.
But I wouldn't feed it all every day.
No.
So I feed mine more of a treat with that, essentially.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when you look at discus in the wild, you'll find that they probably eat more like algae and things like that, really.
Not beef's hearts.
Not beef heart, exactly. So as much for when they're smaller, like if you're going to have smaller ones,
Yeah.
feed them. Get them some weight on
Right, I
them,
see,
get
yeah.
them to a certain size, and then start
But still not
dwindling
all
it
the
down.
time?
But not all the time, I would
How
say.
often?
So I probably do mine once, twice a week.
Okay.
And then other days I will rotate. So you could do general frozen anyway. So things like brine
Bloodworms
shrimp,
and
bloodworms,
all that stuff. So if I get a
do
mixed
like a little
pack,
do like a little cocktail.
Okay.
So you could feed it that once a week.
Yeah.
And then you've got flake and you've got pellet as well.
Okay.
So
Just everything. Just use everything because I've
I'll
got
just
everything.
rotate
so,
it. Rotate
or I
it
will have.
daily.
Okay.
And then you'll find one, they won't get fussy.
Yes.
Two, if you run out of one food, they're going to eat another.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Okay. Yeah.
And it just keeps them their appetite
Okay,
right,
cool.
looking for different food all
So I
the time.
need the beef heart and I need the mixed frozen
Yes,
cubes because
yes.
then that way I've got everything.
You've got
To be
everything.
honest, I'll probably do that to all the
You do
tanks once
decent
I've got
flake
it.
anyway, don't you? So and pellet.
I
So,
flake,
yeah.
flake and pellet and
So,
frozen
yeah.
bloodworm is basically what I use at the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm just adding in those extra ones. So that's good.
Yeah.
I'll feed it to the other fish as well.
Yeah,
to be
absolutely.
honest.
Just rotate it.
Okay. So growing them out.
Mm-hmm.
Growing them out is not just the food, is it? It also. So I'm going to have to do water changes.
Water
aren't I?
changes. Are
It's
you going
fine.
to do water changes though?
Yeah,
Are you
yeah,
going to
well-
get Kate to do water
No,
changes?
she won't do water changes.
She won't do water
No,
changes?
no, no, no.
Oh,
It's too scary because she's got to put stuff in,
Oh, I
and
see.
then when it's filling up, she worries they're going to jump
gonna-
up. Yeah, she
Oh.
won't. She doesn't do
Oh,
any
bless
water
her.
changes at all.
Okay,
But
yes.
I've got my friend that's starting in January, so
Okay.
I'll be teaching him all of this as well.
Yeah,
So, but
yeah.
how often water changes and how much percentage-wise?
I do weekly water changes, and I actually do 50%.
Okay. Yeah.
I do
no
half a
problem.
tank. One thing with discus you'll find, they're quite messy fish, so
Yeah.
their poo is quite large.
Yes.
But they also like to be quite clean. So, yeah, they are going to be sensitive to, parasites and things like that. So, yeah, the cleaner you can keep it, the better it'll be for
That
you.
makes it. I mean, a lot of my tanks have got the smaller fish, so the poop's quite small. Whereas
Yeah.
obviously, if I've got 11 big discus going,
You're
in,
going to see it.
they're
You'll
not big
see
to
it
start
in
with,
the
but
substrate.
as they
Yeah.
grow, not only are
Absolutely.
you going to see it, but it's going to affect the water quality, isn't it? It's going to get algae, then more on the plants as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But also, is this? I heard about like the hormone. Something to do with hormone release in a small space stunts growth. Do you know
Yes.
much? But then you wouldn't know because you're doing the water changes anyway, so you don't
You're
get
doing
that.
a water change today, but you can't take that hormone out of the water, regardless if you're water changing or not. So you'll find if you buy discus, for example, at different stages.
Yeah.
So you bought some today, and then you bought some again in 3 months' time. Your ones you bought today obviously are going to be a lot bigger,
Yeah.
which are then going to give off that hormone to the smaller ones, which will then stunt them. So they're never going to grow
As big as the biggest.
as they should,
Okay.
if that makes sense. But
Yeah.
you will always have that in the water.
Okay.
You won't get rid of that. It depends. So I always say to my customers here, if you want to do a discus tank, then buy them very close together or
The
buy
full
a
number?
group. Yeah, buy a group
yeah.
that you want.
Okay. Which is what we're doing, so that's
Yes,
perfect.
absolutely. And you will notice the difference.
Okay. All right, cool. That's good to know. Stocking numbers.
Yes.
So your tank is 6 foot?
It is.
6 foot. What's the water volume? That'll be better.
It's actually not as much as you think. So
it's shallower.
it's 420 litres.
420. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a good amount.
It is a good amount. I have got a good amount of fish though.
Yeah. How many?
I've got, I think there's currently 14.
And they're big boys and
They're
girls.
big. Yes.
Yeah.
They are.
And
Yes.
Cheryl's just saying she's about to inherit some more, so she's going to get
I
an 8
am.
foot like mine.
I am
coming to
thinking
see
of
it.
it. I'm going to come and see it.
Yeah,
And
you'll love it. It's such a good tank.
I am. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so yeah, so my tank works out about 360 litres plus
Yep.
20 in the canister, so
Yep.
it's 340 litres. It's
Yep.
only 4 foot, but it's much deeper.
Yep.
So that's why that's a higher number. Plus
Yep.
we've got the smaller ones, and I'm pretty sure that if this goes as well as I'm thinking it will,
It
at
will.
some point they're going to be in an 8 foot display.
They're going to be in an 8 foot.
with
and
more.
you're going to, yeah, absolutely. Definitely.
But like you say,
will.
once they've grown up, then I can add bigger ones to them, and that sort. If I
Yeah,
want to,
absolutely.
that sort of thing.
Yeah,
And what about
definitely.
tank mates? Because lots of people are like, you can't put plecos in, you can't
You
put
can put
autos
plecos
in
in.
because
I put
of
plecos
sucking
in.
on, and you've got
I've
autos.
got Ottos. Ottos you've got to be careful with. They can go in, and as long as they leave the discus alone,
Yeah.
they're absolutely fine. But you'll find Ottos can actually get attached to the slime coat
Yeah.
on the side of the
I never
discus.
saw it though last time.
So
I
yeah,
kept
when I have had Ottos
You
that
have?
have done that, so
Okay.
they've got the taste for it. They've started latching on, and you can see the discus are really uncomfortable, and they keep trying to flick them off.
Okay. So just don't use them then, should you say? Would you say? Or
Up
not?
to you. I mean, I've got about 3 or 4 maybe in there that have been absolutely fine. And obviously they do great for my plants because they're
Okay.
eating the detritus and stuff.
But the plecos don't at all, yeah?
Plecos don't, no.
So Bristol nose as well would be cool, wouldn't they?
Absolutely fine.
Okay, because I mainly use Bristol nose to clean up grow anyway instead of autos.
Yep.
So yeah, that works absolutely perfect.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I've got quite a few different species of plex. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Is there anything else you can think of that we haven't covered that we should?
If you're going for a small shoaling fish, generally go for something slightly bigger. So, yeah, if you want something classic, your Rominos or your cardinals, you love your cardinals, just grow them on a bit first.
Yeah, okay.
So,
yeah, I've got some that are massive, so
yeah.
if I want to change across, I'm not sure about
If
that
not,
yet,
go
but
for something a little bit bigger bodied.
I think to start with, I'm just going to stick with the discus in terms of like mid-water,
Yeah.
but I do want some cories.
Yeah,
Have you got
cories.
cories?
Yes,
I
I've
know
got
they go
stir-bys.
together, but some people say don't do it. But you know,
No,
did you
they're
have them
fine.
when you were growing them as
Yes.
well? You did. Okay,
Had them
good.
since small, yes.
Okay, I want some stir-bys.
Yes, I got stir-bys.
Oh yes. Okay, that might be on the cards. The two.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Let's
Absolutely.
get the fish.
Yeah.
Oh, I should probably say thank you very much as well.
No, you're
thank
very
you so
welcome.
much for your insight.
Always
like
a
I say, I'm
pleasure.
following your advice only.
Okay.
So this is completely different now because I've never had
Yeah.
them this small. Completely different to how they're going to look when they're grown.
These are going to change dramatically.
Okay.
They will not look like this guy here. All that markings in the side of him, that will go.
Oh, okay.
He will end up being a solid blue.
Really?
Yes,
Oh, I thought solid blues were solid blue from the start. Like
not
that
necessary.
One...
So that's a blue diamond. So yeah,
Ah.
that is different. But he's a bit more, because I've got German discus, is what I would call more of a cobalt. So you'll have the pattern around the bottom of the fins and the top,
Yeah.
and in the face. But generally, that blue
in the middle
will
Okay.
go as a solid colour.
Okay, cool. So there's quite a few blues there.
You have
We've
got
got
quite a few
1,
blues
2,
there.
3, 4, 5, I think.
Yeah,
So
so these guys are going to be like, I would say they're probably more blue turquoise, so you're going to have a lot more blue to them than the red, but the red's going to come out with age.
Like a
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So they're going to end up being like this when they get a
Okay.
bit bigger.
So, with that in mind, is this one to go for? Is this one to go for?
So they're beautiful, if you like that.
Oh yeah, you know me. I
coloration.
like them
Yeah,
all. I
yeah.
like every single one of them.
Yeah, they are absolutely stunning. So I would either to add a bit more red, I think, because you've got quite a few, like you say, you've got a few blues. So I'll probably go for either one of them, and maybe
Yeah.
look at the one that's nearest to the size as possible.
Like, I quite like this one at the front.
Yeah, this dude's cool.
Done.
Yeah.
Done. Let's bag them up.
Bag them
I
up.
can take them home. More stuff we didn't touch on.
Yes.
Water temperature, what do you keep it at?
I keep it at 29.
29?
Yes.
Wow, okay.
But the plants still do good.
Okay.
I think warmer than that, then your plants struggle a little bit.
Yeah,
But no, 29 is normally a good.
that's what I'll do.
And breeding wise, I've noticed things
Okay.
happening when
Yeah.
the water's just that slightly bit warmer.
29 it is. I've got the
29?
internal, I've got
The
the Oase
Biomasters?
thermal. Yeah,
Yeah.
so is that what you've got?
Yes, I've
Okay,
got two
perfect.
850s. So
You've got 2?
yes.
Shall I increase my filtration? I've only got one at the moment.
See how you go.
Mind you, they're only small at the moment,
You might
aren't
be fine when you get bigger. You might want to add another little one on the side, maybe.
Okay, this should have all been in the interview. I forgot. I thought I've covered everything. No, filtration and temperature. So yeah.
Yes.
So Biomaster 850 is the biggest one. It doesn't have to be a Biomaster, but big canister basically.
But yeah, if you want to add to it.
Yeah. Cool. So Cheryl has actually got one of my first fish I ever bought. I jumped straight into the hobby, being as impatient as I am, and got a discus straight away. I got a few discus actually, and that was George. And you've still got George.
I've still got George. Yeah.
Send me the video later.
I will send you the video. Yes.
Yeah. So after George, I then didn't touch discus for a while because I wanted to go for small shoaling fish, and eventually I got the 6 big discus. That was a while back. I put some clips up of that. But of the group of 6, after about a year and a half, one of them just suddenly died. It looked absolutely perfect. It was one of the biggest ones as well. And it just upset the whole balance of the tank. And before I know it, the hierarchy was like reset and they all started bullying each other. And I went into a bit of a panic mode. I was like, oh, I don't like this. I don't know really what to do. So I brought them in here, didn't I?
You did.
And you guys put them down in the sump and they sold them on. But knowing now what I've learned, like Martin has said to me, if I had just bought more discus and put them in, like even smaller ones, it would have balanced out the hierarchy, it would have reset it again, and it might have, well, more than likely would have sorted things. I didn't know that at the time, I just panicked. But that's why I'm more than happy to try it again with the smaller fish in larger numbers, and hopefully this time it's going to work out so much better. I'm sure it will. It will, won't it, Cheryl?
It will.
100%.
Yes.
Especially with your guidance.
I'm next to you, we can do it.
And you're pro.
Wow. I'm so pro.
You've been doing it for so long.
I've been doing it a long time and I know what works for me. And yes, you can read lots and lots of information online and it can blow your mind with some of the things, but I just think don't overcomplicate it. Yes, they're a bit more sensitive fish than generally anything else. However, I think you just keep them clean, you feed them well, you can't go too wrong.
Oh, one thing I forgot to ask actually that might be quite relevant, pH. What's your pH at?
Well, mine's quite low because we're the same as here.
Which is good for discus.
6.5, which is fantastic for discus.
In that case, I'm going to add Akadama soil in. I'm going to add Akadama soil in. That lowers it loads.
That will lower it then,
So I'm going to get it to 6.5.
Yeah, you can't go far wrong with that.
Done, because these guys, even in here in 6.5, aren't they?
Yes, I tested them.
Okay, cool. I'll touch on that in a bit. This is quite the shopping haul. Plus the Corys as well.
Yep, last bag.
Right, we have fish. A lot of fish. But first of all, I want to do one thing. Now, obviously the filter on here has been running for like well over a year. So I'm not worried about if it being cycled and that. But we've stirred everything up, put new substrate in. I just want to make sure everything's safe in a tank for the fish to go in. I always do this before I put new fish in a newly set up tank. Just give it a test. So we have got our freshwater master test kit here from API. I use this quite a lot still, actually. A lot of people who say they're like experienced don't test at all, but I still use it a lot. I guess that's because I set up so many tanks, but like on well-established ones, rarely would I need to use it. But whenever I'm doing new setups and putting new fish in, I always use it. Because otherwise, how else am I going to know if, you know, the substrate system or anything is leaching? How am I going to know a base level as well for when I need to check in a few days? Or, to be honest, I'll check tomorrow as well. These are expensive fish going in here. Not that it matters the value of them, but, you know, they're bigger as well than the usual sort of... I usually put quite a few fish in, but they're mostly tetras and things like that usually, which don't really have an impact on the water quality when you know what you're doing, you've got so many plants and established filters, whereas these ones, bigger. So, yeah, I'm not taking any risks at all. So I've got 4 vials here, which means I can test the pH, the ammonia, the nitrite, and the nitrate. Okay, so I've done my water testing. Everything is coming back absolutely perfect. The nitrate is at 5 ppm, which is quite on the low side, but that's a good sign. It means that all of our nutrients are locked down in the substrate, which is exactly what we wanted. The only thing is the pH is showing about 7, slightly above actually, which is not too high for the discus because they're bred in a pH of 7 anyway, but they would prefer it lower. They've been living lower and doing well. So I'm going to bring that pH down a little bit. So this here is the Akadama soil, and it just really does lower the pH. I've used it in one of my shrimp tanks and it works so well, and that was quite a lot. So I don't want to lower it by a full point, I just want 0.5. So I'm going to sort of half fill this mesh bag and then I can put that in a filter And then that'll just keep it like that for quite a while. Like my other tank that I've done now is months and months old and it's still holding low pH. So I know it works. I'd rather use something like this than having to keep putting stuff in the water. It just means it's going to hold it much more steady. Right, here is the soil parcel. Look, I've rinsed it under the tap to get off most of the sort of dust particles. So hopefully we don't get anything dirty in the water column. We shouldn't do because there's fine filter floss in there and everything as well. There we go, all up and running again. It's the slightest of little bits of debris floating around, but you can't really tell. I'm happy with that. Right, stop messing about. Let's get these fish in. First of all, I'm going to put them all in the water to acclimate because this temperature is different to my car temperature, which they would have now adjusted to for the journey home. Also, this has now been switched up to 29, as Cheryl suggested. It will take a little while to get to that, but you know that'll happen as the fish are in there as well, which is not a problem. As long as it's not big temperature changes, there won't be any shock or anything like that. Okay, lights out so we don't freak them out, because these are very bright lights. Am I pressing the wrong thing? There we go. I'm thinking maybe putting some floating plants in as well. Just see how it's looking in a minute with the fish in. So Cheryl's bagged them all individually for me. They already look amazing. Double bagged as well. They already look brightly coloured and they've been in a bag. There we go, that's all of them in. The whole surface is taken up, look. Yeah, oh, so excited. It's gonna give them a good half an hour or so just to get the right temperature, and I can release them into the tank. Now I'm gonna do something considered a little bit controversial. I am not gonna take them out the bags. I'm gonna minimize stress, cut the bag and let them go in there with the water. Now I'm okay to do this because I know the shop. I've been going there for years and years. I know how strict they are with everything. You know, the water's treated regularly when there's new fish on the system. It's all UV filtered and things like that. So, I mean, that water's probably better than mine. So I've got no problems with that. If you don't know the shop that you're getting stuff from or you've ordered it from somewhere, you just don't know. So I wouldn't recommend it there. But like I say, these are all from the same system anyway. So all good. It's just, I can cut and just release them straight away. Right then, it's now been 30 minutes. It's time to get all these fish out. Like I say, I'm just gonna release them from the bag with the water. The water level's quite high now, so I'll have to reduce it a little bit because I don't want it right near the lip here. Okay, first fish going in. Enjoy your tank, my friend. Oh, it's not even properly in the light and it looks amazing. Right, keep going. We've got a lot of bags to get through. Fish number 2. Come on, buddy. Oh, they look great and they're just in the shade. They're going to get more and more comfortable the more fish that are put in, obviously. Number 3. Oh, that's the blue diamond. I think this one's the Marlborough. Yeah. Oh, it looks so red. Look at me making a mess. Fish number 5. Oh, that is beautiful. Oh. Now, even though all these discus are small, their coloration is looking fantastic already. We're going to get you nice and big. Number 6. Another blue diamond. Oh, I pulled up some Vallisneria. Put that back in a minute. What are we on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is fish 7. Which is absolute. Look at that. Those colours. I knew this light would be insane for colours. Fish number 8. Number 9. Number 10. Beautiful. Beautiful orangey yellow on that. Just looked over, they look so good. These are all of the stir-by cories. I thought I had 11 fish, but I think we've got 10, unless I've been counting wrong. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, yeah. I was too excited looking around, I lost count. Final discus. Whoosh, that is a beauty. Look at that. Oh my goodness, they look amazing. And then last but not least, the stir-by. They are going to love this tank. They've got the finer sand at the back. Oh, look. Make sure they're all out. Yep, all out. I was not expecting their colours to look so vibrant straight away. And they're not even in the light properly there. They're just at the edge of the tank. Definitely going to take some of this water out though. I'm going to drop it to about sort of that level, and that should be absolutely fine. There's the stir-by look down on the substrate, staying still. They won't stay there forever for sure. They'll be amongst everything, but you know, they're going to get a lot bigger than that, mind you. They're probably about 3 times, 4 times the size. No, 3 times, especially that smaller one right there. But you know, that one's a decent size, but still double that, I'd say. As I was coming down here then, like, the fish are coming over to see me. The good thing about these fish that have been in the shop for a little while is that they are not skittish at all, look. That's pretty chill. They're not going to the back. They're interested in my hands. So we're off to a great start. But I do need to put something in the water now because this tank has been sat without anything in it for like a good week. Well, actually 5 days. So a cycled filter that's not had any livestock and any waste means that some of the beneficial bacteria would have been dying off. So I'm going to be adding API's Quick Start, which is what I always use with new fish, or if I change anything drastically as well, I tend to use it as well. In this tank, we're going to need, look at the back, 10 mil per 38 litres. So I need 10 capfuls in this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And that's just going to ensure that if there was any sort of bacteria die off, we're seeding it again nice and quickly to be able to come back. Again though, I will literally come in tomorrow morning, the first thing I'm going to be doing is testing the water and making sure everything's all right, because it's a decent bioload. I mean, they are only sort of, they're not quite babies, I'd call them juveniles, but still, they're going to produce some waste. So I will check tomorrow. I don't expect to see anything wrong at all, but that's why we test, because suspecting isn't good enough. I'm going to turn the lights off now, and hopefully they could be really comfortable and all over the tank in the morning. Right, it's now the next day, first thing in the morning. I've just come in, and we are all looking good. So they all seem to have gone from over this area, and now they're liking this area, which is quite cool because I deliberately designed it in a way that this is sort of chock-a-block full and refuge if they want, and then this is the much more open area, and they seem pretty comfortable with it. Not too skittish, look. Oh, look at that, in the background there. All the stir-by Corey, all in like a nice little huddle group. When I came in, they were all over the tank as well. But I have noticed there is a little bit of dusting to the water. Either the Corys have been digging. Oh, look at them going at the back there. That's so cool. It's always good to get a big shoal of Corys. I'm probably going to get even more of them, actually. I think they're great. Look at that. Last time I kept stir-by with Discus, I had breeding, I had tons of babies as well, so I'm hoping to get that again. But yeah, there's that slight dust into the water. There's been either some digging from the Discus, or it's more than likely it's going to be the Corys sifting through it all, isn't it? So I'm going to do a water change. I've tested the water again straight away, first thing I did. Everything looks the same, but this tank hasn't had a water change, you know, since I set it up. So I want to get in the habit of it. I want to get the fish used to me doing it as well, because it's not something they would have experienced. Because to change the water on the system at the shop, you just do it from the sump. So yeah, get in the habit of me doing it, get in the habit of them seeing me doing it, and it won't freak them out then. This one's very, very confident. Nice. So I've filled up my water butt, you can see here, with water. I've got the temperature to the same temperature, which is at the 29 of the tank. Just added hot, obviously, to it. And then I tested it with this digital thermometer. We're at the right temperature. Now, obviously, that's fresh out of the tap that's in there and is like, it's got chlorine and things like that in. So that's where Aqua Essential comes in. I've been using this for years now, and it just does everything we need. It detoxifies ammonium nitrite and nitrate, removes chlorine, chloramines, and heavy metals. It's good for fresh water and salt water. Now, it's so easy to use as well. Now, the good thing about it is it's great value for money. You don't really need to use a lot at all. That whole thing there, I'll put in like 1 capful. Job done. And obviously with a studio like this, just full of tanks, I need to make sure I'm getting good value for money, and Aqua Essential definitely does that. Right, I'm just about to do the water change, and Kate has arrived.
Hello.
And she took a little look at I forgot she hadn't seen the Discus, and you still already seen them, but you haven't seen them properly. Go and take a look. What do you think?
Yeah, lovely.
Oh, they look so good. Just the right brightness, I think. Like, sometimes it's hard to capture on camera, but I think that's just right, isn't it? Like, they don't look like
no, they're lovely though, aren't they?
Look, yeah, they're not shy at all. Like, a little bit, obviously.
They're bigger than I thought they'd be.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I thought they'd be way smaller than that.
No. I mean, there was some that were a little bit smaller, but we just felt that these were all the same size.
That's a nice size, though, for that tank, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And these are nice, too.
Oh, yeah, they're the stir-by Corys, yeah.
They're really nice. They're staying together.
Yeah, they do. They're a schooling fish. I've got 10 of them, but I'm probably going to get more.
They're really nice.
They've murked the water up a little bit, but that's why I'm going to do a water change.
Oh, they're cute.
Yeah, they're such a chill fish, aren't they? Would you like those at home?
Yeah.
You would? Okay, so we've got a few selections for the home tank now. But yeah, they're quite cool. This is the first time they've sort of been in the tank properly with the light on, because last night, very soon after putting them in, I just turned it all off just to let them chill out. But yeah, he's the most confident, or she, but it's probably a male, because it's got really, really broad head at the front. It might not be though, they're so young at the moment, it's very hard. But his patterns will go all over, like certain ages, their patterns come in.
Feed me.
Yeah, I'm going to feed them as well. I'm definitely going to feed them. I forgot to get beef heart and
We've got to go
frozen
tomorrow
food.
anyway.
Yeah, we're going to go tomorrow, we can get it then. But yeah, so yeah, they're lovely, aren't they? The tank's only going to get better and better as well. They've dusted it up, that's why I'm going to do a water change, but still. So Kate's approval, yeah?
Yeah, approved.
Because, I mean, when I got my distance before, you weren't really around the studio, you weren't really caring about food, but you're looking at chunks.
Yeah, I think he's noticed me.
She's straight, yeah.
I've not been in for a while. That's
he hasn't been out all morning, and as soon as he's seen you, look at him, he's all animated.
To be fair, look at them all. They're like, she feeds us. Not that you don't feed them.
I was going to say, I was like, wow, like
they like the fact
shaming
that
me on the internet.
I think they know that I come in
when you
and
come
I
in, there is
instantly
food. Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Look at them all, look, they're all here, look.
Yeah, I mean, those are like that with anyone. This tank is changing soon, babes. Look at the size of them now.
Yeah, they're
when you think
massive.
when I got them, they're all that small. Matt picked them, didn't know what size they were going to be, you see.
Size of this guy here.
But he was right, he knew that they'd be beautiful fish. But I'm going to do something much more like relevant to their...
They need a bit more space, don't
Look
they?
at that one in the middle, getting the colours.
It's a shame because it's a really nice tank.
It's a nice tank, it's just not suitable for them. So, you know, you've got to change the tank to their needs. When I first built it, obviously it was less plants, but they were a lot smaller, but we've been feeding a lot more of the pellet, haven't we? And they put massive size on. Loads of males have came out because so those are the males with the white tips. And you can see the females because they are like, you know, they've got the more yellow in, a lot small. So I can't wait. That's going to be one I want to do soon because it really is too small from now and there in terms of space because of all the hardscape.
I think we need to trim this one back too.
Yeah, it needs to trim back the puffer tank. It needs the top scooping out of the pearlweed. But it's so balanced, this tank. Oh, it's not even showing up on camera. There we go.
These guys are funny as well.
That's the actual lighting. Just then, like the camera, look, if you point up at the light, it makes the bottom bit go dark. They want food.
Look at that little teeth.
So Kate's gone, she's got some stuff to do, but I was about to crack on with the water change and I thought, well, that's a bit silly. Why don't I do the feeding first? If I feed them, anything they don't eat can just be siphoned up. And, you know, they're new in the tank, so I'm not sure how much of a brave appetite that's, shall we say. I don't know how well they're going to go for the food, but we'll give it a go. So, yeah, we are going to go with the sinking pellet from Aquarian. So this is great for cories or anything larger. I feed it to all of my cichlids as well because it's a lot more sort of nutrient dense. So they'll get some of that, plus the cories in there will be perfect. And we've also got the Aquarian tropical and temperate flake food. So yeah, I'll feed them this today. Like Cheryl said, rotate your foods. I'll do this today. And tomorrow I can go and get the beef heart and all the frozen stuff as well. So like, yeah, I'll alternate it and then they're gonna get absolutely everything they need. Now, obviously, oh, I've got a fresh bag here actually. Now, obviously, these guys are quite shy at the moment. They don't know I'm the feeder, so we'll teach them that. So I always do a little tap on the glass first so the fish know that that means food. I can put the sinking pellet in there and it's falling quite near them. There you go, the brave ones. The brave ones coming forward. Yes. I guess they don't know quite yet if it's like edible because they're not used to this specific stuff. But like Cheryl said, we don't want them to be fussy. We want them to want to eat everything, and they're definitely going for that. The bravest ones first, of course, and the more shy ones in the back. There's always some kind of pecking order. But there we go, at least half of them are taking a nibble. I'm gonna make sure I put in some flake as well, just to get their taste buds going. And they like to go around and pick up food off the floor as well. I noticed that with my other discus, sometimes they wouldn't even touch it until it landed. Here we go, look, I'm gonna put a bit of a flake in as well. I'm actually gonna crumble it in my fingers and hopefully it falls down near them all. I turned the filter against the back panel, just so it doesn't blow all this around everywhere. Well, that's falling right near them. Again, sometimes it can take a while for intelligent fish like discus to get comfortable. Some are more comfortable than others and are going for it straight away. The ones at the back here being a little bit more reserved. I'm gonna back off away from the tank just so that they don't, you know, keep having to look at me and they're more comfortable. They definitely all seem to have had a good feed there on the time lapse. It was really funny actually seeing the cories coming backwards and forwards in their little groups. But yeah, now I can definitely change some water. As you can see, it's looking a little bit misty. It's just some residue left over from the dusting, and the fine particles from the AquaClear as well. It's got stuck a little bit in some of those real fine plants because they've acted as a filter themselves. It'll go in time. It's just, you know, let's just get it all looking perfect in one nice big 50% water change. First water change with the tank. Hopefully they're going to get used to it. It's all calm, so it should be fine. There we go, water change done. They all stayed pretty calm, which was good. A little bit of kicking about to start with when I first put the pipe in that sucks the water out. But what's really cool is they're using the Vallisneria area exactly as I intended it for, because it's dense back there, look. They can still swim in and out of it. And it's given them like a little refuge area to feel safe, which is exactly what it's there for. So that's brilliant. I also added, oh, you don't want that out there. Look at that, get that out. Yeah, I also added some floating plants as well, just some mini water lettuce, took off some of the roots that were coming down because they're just so long. So now they're nice and short. They'll grow back, but that's all good for water quality. Add a little bit more cover in that as well, and a little bit more realism. So yeah, hopefully by tomorrow we're now crystal clear again. That'll be another day of them in the tank, so that'll be like 2 whole days, and I think they're gonna start to get much more comfortable then. So it is now day 3 of the Discus being in. It's first thing in the morning, I've come and tested the water and everything's perfect, but look, they're out. Yeah, like I said, I've just done all the testing again, all perfect, but look, all of them in the front here, looking very comfortable, not scared of me coming up to the tank, all breathing nice and steady as well, so I think they're getting a lot more comfortable, which is great. It's such a relief to know that. But I do think we can make them feel even more comfortable. Like, obviously we've got the cories, which stay down low, but we don't have any proper dither fish. Like some swimming midway up the tank, and come on, cardinals. The cardinals go with discus like you wouldn't believe. Now my discus are small and my cardinals are big, so there's no worry of them eating them or anything like that. And it's the cardinals from this tank that I'm thinking of putting in. I don't need to put in all of them. There's no need for that, but like maybe scoop out half or however many I can catch. It'd just be like a nice little school. And like I say, look, they're a real good size. I've had these cardinals for a long time, so yeah, they'll be perfectly fine in with the discus, and I know they're all healthy and everything, like I say, had them a long time, there's no disease or anything like that, so I've got no problem mixing. I will be deworming the discus at some point as well, just to be sure, like just to make sure there's absolutely nothing in there. But yeah, why not? Let's add some cardinals. Cardinals and discus go together like fish and chips, we'll say. And I think it's going to definitely need to be the double net method. What I could probably do is put some food over in this corner, have them all swim towards the net and scoop, both at the same time. Okay, so as said, I've got 2 nets here, and here's the food. I'm gonna have to be quick with this. Well, there's the food gone in. They should all move towards it. Good, good, good. Coming in from the sides. Okay, I've got a good amount there. Right, I managed to get a good little group there using the triple net method. And also it's brought out my baby mollies as well. Black mollies, look, there's one there. So I didn't actually know if there was any in there, but me rustling around everywhere brought them, you know, forwards. I'm gonna try and get that one. The net's the wrong way though. No. Okay, oh, he's gone in. He's gone in. Oh, he come out. Never mind. Right, so we'll probably try and get some more at a later date, but look at that. Nice little group. I didn't want too many, so yeah, perfect. So I've had the cardinals sitting like this for a good while now, about 15, 20 minutes, so they should have reached the temperature of the tank. It's not too much of a difference, but still. Let's just release them. Cardinals can act a little bit funny to start with. There we go, look, the fish have noticed them. They upset a few of them there. They'll be all right, they'll get used to it. Once the cardinals are settled in a little bit now, they're gonna start swimming around all in the midsection, and it's what's called a dither fish. It kind of tricks, well not tricks, I suppose it clarifies for the other fish that it's safe to be swimming out in the open water and just makes them feel a little bit more comfortable. Give them some time and I think that's going to work well. I suppose the good news is there was no aggression shown by the discus at all. If anything, they were freaked out by the fish, so they're going to get along absolutely fine. Well, the good news is, look, we've got all of the cardinals all out in the front and all of the cories over here are having a real good time as well. The discus are still a bit shy. They're going to be shy for about a week or so, I reckon. There's a pocket of them there. They've all gone in the background section. And that's absolutely fine. Take their time with it. They're not here to perform for me. But yeah, it's going to be interesting just seeing it progress as the tank grows in more and the fish get more confident. You know, like any larger cichlid, they're all quite similar in the way that they're very clever. So they're not quite as simple to just come out for you constantly. A lot more cautious and aware of the surroundings, aware of what's outside of the tank at all times as well. I mean, we've only got to look at Chunks for an example of that. Look, see, I step towards the tank, he comes to have a look. Here we go, look, it's now day 4 of the fish being in the tank and they are a lot more comfortable now. I've just fed them. I'm stood right back because I wanted to capture it on video to show you guys that they're quite chill. If I go forward, hopefully they still stay quite chill. I made sure that some of the food all sort of went everywhere in the tank. But yeah, this is cool. I'm just going to go very slowly. They're not used to me. I think it might be the camera that sort of freaks them out a little bit. But yeah, look at that. All doing brilliantly. Little group of cardinals as well, look. Really, really happy with how this has turned out. There is a couple still in the back area as well, but I made sure the food went there. But look at this. Awesome. They are loving it. That's like the dominant one. That one there seems to be in charge of the food. And if anyone else goes near his little bit, he pushes them back. But that's cool. There's always going to be some sort of hierarchy, but brilliant to know. Everything is just going great with the tank. Fish are comfortable. Water parameters are perfect. Yeah, really, really happy. So yeah, as always, I really hope you've enjoyed this one. It's been a long video, but there's a lot to go through with Discus. It's not quite as simple as with all the other fish, is it? Now make sure you're subbed and following along. There's going to be updates, you know, as the tank progresses with the fish behavior and growing in of the tank and that sort of thing, and ongoing maintenance and fish health, feeding, all of that stuff. So yeah, make sure you're subbed and I'll see you on the next one.